Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this session we will see different types of Maven profiles. Okay, so in last session we have seen some basic idea about the Maven profiles, how we can define it in the pom.xml files and how we can activate them and run the automation. So now we will see the different types of Maven profiles. So these are the three types of Maven profiles. One is per project, per user and global level. So per project means you can have multiple Maven projects in your workspace. Okay, so in your Eclipse workspace you can have multiple Maven project created. So if you want to define some Maven profiles, then you will have to go to the pom.xml file of each and every Maven project and then define the configuration or define the profiles and configuration in that pom.xml file separately. Okay, so this setting or this type of Maven profile, we need to do the configuration for each Maven project separately. Okay, then per user means on the laptop, let's say I logged in with the user 1 and user 1 have some around 10 Maven projects. So whatever setting I will do in the file, that will be applicable for all the Maven projects for which this user 1 has access. Okay, so whatever Maven project I have in my workspace, all the projects will be affected, whatever settings or whatever profiles I will do at the user level. And next type of Maven profile is global. So this type of Maven profile will be applicable for all the users for all the Maven projects. Okay, so your laptop or your machine can be used by the multiple users, okay, using different credentials. So if I define any Maven profile and its activation by default at the global level, then this settings will be applicable for all the users and all the Maven projects on that machine, and that those projects will be used by the all the users. Okay, so as we are doing the Maven profiles at the global level, then all those settings will be applicable for all those users using the same machine. So now let's try to understand all these types practically now. So I have two Maven projects for the demonstration. This is the Maven profile 1 and this is the Maven profile 2. So whatever settings or whatever Maven profiles we need to do in the pom.xml file only, right? So this is the pom.xml file for this first project and this is the pom.xml file for the second project. Okay, so in the first project what I am doing is I have added some dependencies, okay, and their version, and I have defined two Maven profiles in the pom.xml file. So this is the first profile, that is the regression. So this is the ID and some configuration related to my Surefire plugin I have provided in the this profile. Okay, first profile. So for regression, if I am running the regression profile, then it will use this 3.0.0 version of the Surefire plugin, and it will run the test from the regression.xml file. Okay, this is the test.xml file. And then another profile I have, that is the default profile. Okay, so if I creating any build, then this is the default profile and it will use the 2.8 version of the Surefire plugin, and then it will run the sanity and smoke test, okay, on the application. So this is my second default second profile. Okay, then this is the second project pom.xml file. So here I have added again few dependencies which are required to run my Selenium test, and I have defined only one profile here. So in this profile, the profile ID is default, and this is the tag I have added. Okay, so I will explain you what is the use of this activation. Then under the build, I have added some plugins. So this is the first plugin, compiler plugin. It should use the 3.8.1. Then Java version 1.8 it should use. Then different plugin, that is to run the test Surefire plugin with 3.0.0. Then jar plugin 3.2.0 to create the jar of our project, and that will be kept in the test jar, okay, project jars under the project folders. Okay, so this is the simple configuration I have provided for this profile default profile. Okay, so for defining the profile for every Maven project, you will have to go to the pom.xml file and you need to define the profiles and their configuration like this. Okay, so for these two Maven project, I have defined different profiles and their different configuration separately, right? So this is how we can we need to do the Maven profiles at the project level. So now if I want to run this Maven projects with some profile, then I need to activate those profile, and then it will create the build by using that profile configuration. Okay, so let's say for this first Maven project, I have to run, let's say, the default profile. Okay, I need to run the sanity and smoke test. So how we can run this default profile? You need to go to the run as, then go to the Maven build, and here you can provide the goal. So let's say I need to run the test, okay, compile test and run the test, and then create the build and install it in the M2 repository on the local machine. So I will provide the phase name install, and here as per last session, space hyphen capital P, and then you need to provide the profile ID. Okay, so here I will provide, let's say, default. Okay, so this is the one way by which you can activate the profile and run your Maven project. Otherwise, you can give this name in this section also. Okay, so this is the profile. I need to provide the profile ID. So this time you will run like that. Okay, so goal is install and profile that need to be activated and run, that is default. Okay, so it has run our sample test cases. So I'm just opening the linkedin.com and I'm printing the title. So sanitary automation has completed, and then it has run the smoke automation. Okay, so it has used the same configuration whatever we have added in the profile with the ID default. Okay, so it should use the Surefire plugin 2.8 version, and it should run the test from the sanity and smoke. Okay, so let's verify the version 2. Surefire plugin 2.8, right? So our project and our build has created with the this configuration with the profile ID default. Then if I want to run the regression, I will copy the ID, then again go to the run as, and then Maven build, provide the profile ID here, regression, and I will give install. So this time it should use the 3.0.0 M5 version for the Surefire, and test from the regression.xml file should be executed. So you can see it has used the Surefire plugin 3.0.0. That means it has activated the regression profile. Okay, so we have seen how we can see the active profiles using this command as well. Okay, for that particular build. So this is how we can run the Maven profile for every Maven project. You need to do the settings, you need to define the profiles and their configuration separately in each of the Maven project in the pom.xml file, and you can run those using the simple Maven commands. So let's say for the second Maven project, I am running, let's say if I run directly with the Maven install, then it should use the default version of the compiler plugin, Surefire plugin, and jar. Okay, so here we have this default profile with this configuration, but if I am running directly with the Maven install, then let's see what happens. So without profile, if I am running, then it should use the default version of the compiler Surefire plugins. Okay, it should not use the whatever versions I have defined for that default profile. So here also I am running the simple test linkedin.com, and we'll print some title, and this is the sanity automation completed from the Maven profile too. So let's check the versions. So now you can see compiler plugin 3.1, then Surefire plugin 2.12. Okay, so it has not executed this Maven project with the configuration whatever we have defined from the default profile. Otherwise, it has used the 3.0.0, but it did not use it. So it has used the default versions for the compiler, Surefire plugin, or jar plugin for the creation of the build. Okay, for this project. And if I want to run the default profile, then I will have to again go to the run as. You need to explicitly give the name of the profile to run. So let's say default. So this time it has used the latest one, 3.0.0, and compiler plugin also 3.8.1, whatever we have defined for the default Maven profile. Okay, so this is also working fine. So why I have added this? So if let's say in your Maven project in the pom.xml file you have created the multiple Maven profiles. Okay, so this is the first tag, profiles, under which you can define one or more multiple Maven profiles and their configuration. Okay, so currently I have only one, and if I want to set that when I create a build for this Maven project, it should use some specific Maven profile by default, then I can do this by using activation tag. Okay, so this is the starting, here it is ending, and in that I need to use the active by default tag. Okay, so currently its value is false, that's why it will not use the default profile. Okay, so first time when we run this Maven project, it has used the default versions, right? So if I set it to true, okay, now if I run this directly with the install without specifying any Maven profile name, then it will use the default profile only, because I have used the active by default true. So let's try to verify that. Let's directly run with the Maven install, and it should use these versions 3.8, 3.0, 3.2, 3.8, 3.0. Okay, and 3.2. Okay, that means Maven has activated this default profile by default for this Maven project. Okay, so for this specific Maven project 2, it has activated this default profile by default. Okay, so that also we can verify by running that simple command. If you want to see the which profile is active, then you can use this command, Maven build, and run it. Okay, so you can see that following profiles are active. This is the default, and where it is coming from Maven Profiles 2 project. This is the Maven Profiles 2.0.1 snapshot. Okay, so this is the version. Okay, so this is the configuration for the per project type of Maven profile. So I hope this is clear for all of you how we can define the Maven profiles per project. Okay, so for every Maven project, you need to do the settings separately by going into the pom.xml file, define the profiles under which you can define the multiple profiles and their different configuration. Let's say if you want to activate some profile, specific profile by default for every build, then you can do that by using activation tag. Okay, just set this active by default to true, and it will work fine. Now let's see what is per user type of Maven profile. So for that purpose, just go to the directory where your Maven is installed. That means where you have downloaded your Maven and provided the Maven home path in the environmental variables. So open that folder and go to the conf. Then here you will find this settings.xml file. So just copy this file, and you need to copy this file into the M2 repository. Okay, so that that will be applicable at the user level. So for that purpose, go to the C drive, then go to the users. So you can have multiple users on your laptop. So go to the specific user, and for this specific user, this M2 folder is available. Okay, so I will paste that settings.xml here. So whatever profile and its activation I am going to do in this file will be applicable for this specific user. Okay, not for the all the users. Right. So just open that file. Okay, so there are lots of things you can read from this file. Okay, so our main interest is into the profile section. What I will do, let me remove this section. Okay, so here under these profiles you can have multiple profiles similar to the pom.xml. Just provide the profile id, and under this section active profiles, you can list the profiles that are active for all the builds. Okay, so here we can define one or more profile that need to be activated. So I will add the profiles from the pom.xml file. So first profile is, let's say this is the default profile. Okay, default profile, and I will activate it by default. Okay, so under the list I will provide the name of default profile. Okay, so now in this specific Maven project, I don't have to do these settings start by default. Okay, activate by default. Okay, I can remove this. So as we are doing at the user level, So whatever settings we are doing from the settings.xml will be applicable for all the Maven projects. Okay, so this Maven project have the default profile already, and we are activating it by default from this settings.xml. Okay, so when we run this Maven project, it should use the default settings, okay, configuration from this default profile. So let's try to verify that. So it is using SurePy plugin 3.0.0. Okay, so whatever plugins and its version we have mentioned in this profile, it is using that. That means it has started or activated the default profile from the settings.xml, and it has run the profile. Okay, so automation or our build has created with this profile default. So that also we can verify using this command help active profiles. So it will give us the list of active profiles for that current build. So it is showing default profile which is coming from the external file, that is settings.xml. Okay, and that same profile is available in this project also. So again, in the first Maven project, in this pom.xml also we have default profile. Okay, so in the default profile we are running sanity and smoke. Okay, so we are not setting the active by default equal to true. So this profile also get activated, and our automation or our build should get created with the configuration with the default profile. Okay, if you run this project directly. So that settings.xml file configuration, okay, will be applicable for this Maven project also. Okay, as this project is available for the same user, the default profile will be activated and build will be created with this default profile configuration. Let's verify that also. So it should run sanity, smoke, and SurePy plugin 2.8. SurePy plugin 2.8 version. That means our build has created with this default profile version. Okay. So now we can add some more profiles also. Let's say I want to add regression also. So our first Maven project have the regression profile as well. So I will set it to active profiles. So now if we run this, it will run the regression profile. Okay, regression automation completed. And for second Maven profile, we do not have the regression profile available in the pom.xml. Okay, so it will give some error at the end. So automation will be run with the default profile only, as both profiles are active. But at the end, it will give you the warning that requested profile regression could not be activated because it does not exist. Okay, so this is how you can define the Maven profile at the user level. Just use the setting.xml file, list down your profiles and active profiles list. So now let's see how we can do this at the global level. Okay, so it is very much similar to the per user. We require the setting.xml file only, but this file what I'm going to do is I will remove this file from this location, and I will go to the conf folder again, and I will paste this setting.xml there. So just go to the Maven directory where your Maven is downloaded. Okay, so this is my Maven. Go to the conf folder, and I am going to replace this setting.xml file with my changes. Okay, so currently this settings.xml is not from the .m2. I will open this file. Okay, just reopen this file from the conf. Okay, so same configuration is there, but it is now at the global level. Yes, I will remove this. So these settings will be available for all the users who are accessing all the Maven projects. Okay, as we are doing it in the Maven installation directory itself. So if you want to verify the same change for this Maven project from the Eclipse, then it may not work, because our Maven installation directory is different for our local machine. On our local machine we have downloaded our Maven separately, right? So if you want to verify this change while running the Maven project from the Eclipse, it may not work, because when we install this Eclipse, the Maven installation comes by default. Okay, so it is not available at the same directory where we have kept this settings.xml file. It can be in the Eclipse workspace, right? So when we run this Maven project from the Eclipse, the global level configuration may not work, right? That also I will show you. Even though we have added the configuration and active profiles in the setting.xml at the global level, it may not be applicable when we are running from the Eclipse. So you can see it has used the Surefire plugin 2.12, but we have added the Surefire plugin as 3.0.0 for the default profile. Okay, so that's why it will not work. For this Eclipse workspace, if you want to see where your Maven is installed, you can see that using the Maven build and just type -v. So it will show you where your Maven home is available. So Maven home is available at the C users Eclipse workspace. Okay, then the workspace name, the profile, and then embedded folder. Okay, so it is not the same as like this. So for my local machine, my Maven home is available at this location. It is not similar to the Eclipse. So if you want to verify this global level setting, then we need to run the Maven project from the command prompt. So what we can do is, I will open the project location now. Just open the project location where this Maven project is available. Okay, so it is available in the Eclipse workspace and all those projects are available here. So just open the folder and open the command prompt from here. Okay, so now if we see where your Maven is installed, you can check it. Maven-v. So now it is showing the users download setup files Maven and this Apache Maven version 3.8.4. Okay, so whatever configuration you are doing at the global level, now it will be verified using the command prompt now. Okay, so let's try to see which profiles will be activated by default. First with mvn help active profiles. So it will take the input from the setting.xml available in the conf folder. Okay, so now it is showing default profile is activated, source is external, and it is coming from the current project also. And if I add the regression Maven profile also, let's say this is my first. Let's try to verify now. So both the profiles should be activated. Okay, default regression and default source from the current Maven project. So let's try to run this second Maven profile by default. So by default it should use the it should activate the default profile and create the build out of it. So Maven install. So you can see it is using the Surefire plugin 3.0 and compiler plugin 3.8, whatever we have added in the default profile for this second project. Okay, let's try to run the first project. Let's say cd dot Maven profiles. Here I am going to run the Maven install. So now it should run the regression. Regression automation completed. This is how you can create the setting.xml file, and it's up to you if you want to define this at the global level or at the user level. So if you define at the global level, then it will be applicable for all the users who are using that machine, and if it is defined at the user level, then that will be applicable for that specific user only. And one more thing I can show you, we can activate the profile by using some configuration. Let's say I have one more profile, and let's say profile with some ID. Let's say my profile ID is Java 1.8, and here you need to provide the activation. Okay, so I will give this name here instead of regression, Maven help active profiles. You can see all three profiles default from the external Java 1.8 from the external files is activated. Okay, so it is available in the following list of active profiles. So this is how you can use the setting.xml file. You can set the active profiles from a single file only, and that will be applicable for all the Maven projects. Okay, so you don't require to go to the every Maven project and pom.xml file and set this configuration from here. So I have whatever examples we have seen that will help you to understand the type of Maven profiles per project, per user and global level. And the previous session and this session, I think pretty much enough for you at the beginner level or fresher level to prepare for the interviews. And you can try this Maven profile concept in your real-time projects also. Okay, try to create the different builds with the different configuration by defining the different Maven profile in the pom.xml file for the single Maven project. And as per this user, we can do that at the user level also using the setting.xml, or you can do it at the global level also. Okay, so try these things on your own and let me know if you face any issue in that. So thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video soon.